the Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup. Unmistakably on the Bucks side, Westminster School in pink, and on the Berkshire Station, somewhat less vividly, the Phillips Academy, Andover, USA. There's no missing Westminster, is there?
And they'll be hoping, they're not much looking at them either. They'll be looking to try and get ahead and dominate this race. It should be an absolute cracker.
A lot of people are looking forward to this one. Phillips Academy from Andover. This, certainly in recent years, has been a race dominated by the home crews, the British crews from Eton and Abington. They've shared the last 6 Prince Elizabeth Challenge Cups between them. Eton, the defending champions, but Westminster are strong this year, as they will hope to demonstrate against the American Challenge now. Go! And away they go, digging deep from the very beginning. Westminster, who on Wednesday beat King's Canterbury easily in a time of 7 minutes 12, and went on yesterday to beat Hampton School by a length and a third in a time of 6 minutes 50. They were evidently pushed much more sternly then. And the Phillips Academy there on the Berkshire side, who on Wednesday beat St George's College by 2/3 of a length, 6 minutes 47. And then yesterday King's Chester by 3/4 of a length, 6 minutes 44. The Americans, John, have had 2 really testing races to set them up for this quarter-final. I wonder how that sits with you. Is that a good rehearsal, a real strengthening process, or might that have drained them?
It's a very good question, Peter. It depends how they manage them. If they had to build up a lot of lactic acid, but even so, afterwards they'd have done a warm down, they've done a couple of Ks to get the lactic acid away from out of their systems. The coach will have had that all covered. So I think it might have actually given them confidence to know that they can push themselves and win close races. I mean, look at this. This is exactly when you need that mentality, when you don't want to have had a couple of easy rounds. When you say we've been alongside boats very closely and we've beaten them, and they're really putting the pressure on Westminster. This is a good race.
Of Matthew Holland there, the coach for Westminster School, with Oscar Arts-Jones in the stroke seat, in the bow James Plout. Westminster, whose finest performances over the years at Henley have been in the Frawley Challenge Cup, rather than necessarily the Princess Elizabeth, but who are competing hard here. They've come through 2 rounds, they've got an eye for the weekend. 2 of the great academic establishments, of course, either side of the Atlantic. Westminster, which has educated, I think, 7 English Prime Ministers. At Andover, at least 2 American presidents. The Bushes, George and George W., have no doubt picked up an oar on the Merrimack River down the years.
We've got to see this. We've got to understand what's going through the Cox's minds at the moment. They'll have race strategies talked through by the coach, but when it comes down to the actual race, only the Coxes can decide what they're going to do. You can't stick to the race plan if it isn't working, or you've got to adapt it if you think of something better at the time. And look at this. This is stroke for stroke, absolutely cheek by jowl. Westminster School, possibly the best PE we've got in the competition, and Phillips are just sitting there saying, we're holding them. What do? Do they push on? Do they hold back? This is going to be absolutely critical. This is down to the Coxes. I'm really excited by this race.
This is a race between the ears, as much as it is on the water itself. There's some thinking to be done here. It's going to require tactical aptitude and an understanding by the Cox of what he can ask for and when he can ask for it.
There are 2 tactics here. There might be others, but one is to sort of allow the others to do a push and try and hold them with minimum effort, and then as they come down from their push, take them. That is psychologically destructive. The other one is to try and push away and then try and kill them off, which is very, very risky, but you burn your boats and you just go for it. And this is absolutely fabulous. We're looking at 2 incredibly well-matched crews just trying to keep the pressure on the other, so who's going to break first.
These, of course, are young men. They're really, whilst at a very high level, they're really still learning. And these are the great tests, these are the great examinations of where they're going as horsemen. And for now, Westminster are, 2, 3, 4 seats up.
Yeah, it looks like they've been putting in a push. I mean, we always assume that if they've gone ahead. In fact, if you look at the end of the stroke, there's a little bit more sort of head coming forward, like they're doing a little bit more extras, trying to push those puddles away a little bit harder. You can see that they're getting a certain amount of cover. We won't come to that just yet. But they're just moving up, as you say, 3 or 4 seats. There's a lovely call, apparently, from Bill Mason, who's one of the coaches there, kill some fish. And I think that's what they're doing right now. They're killing fish. So let's see what happens.
You wouldn't want to be a fish in that water at the moment because they are ripping it up. This is a very, very good race. Perhaps as good a race as we've seen in the PE this week so far. And Westminster know that it is not done and dusted just yet by any means. Jacob Cazol, the cox for Phillips, is exhausting his troops to greater effort as they get up towards the enclosures now. Past those beautiful, beautiful trees, the lush green meadows behind them. It is the pink of Westminster which is preeminent, but not by very much.
Well, you can see there in the middle of the boat there's a certain amount of stress showing in the faces. They're going to be a very nervous Stuart McDonald, the coach in that umpire's launch, just wishing and willing his crew to do better things. But Westminster look like they've moved out again a couple more seats. So I think both of these guys are redlining it, and they've just got the amount of time they need to settle this once and for all. Westminster are either going to kill this off, or they get into serious problems and pressure from Phillips over the next 20 strokes.
Westminster, of course, poignantly this week, perhaps in memory of Dan Topolsky, whose memorial service occurred at the beginning of the week. And in his memory, but with a thought to their own rowing futures, these 9 individuals are putting in a massive effort here, and as we approach the finishing line, pulling away now from Phillips Academy, not far away. This has been a live contest from start to finish, but Westminster appear to have enough.
Well, there's a call that they do against the Boston boys do against English teams. It's dump the tea. They need to dump the tea right now, and they're just not going to have quite enough time to do it. They're going to run out of river. They're just going past the stewards. Terribly exciting race, but Westminster have deserved this lead.
It's been a belting competition. It's a really, really good race. So much has been invested in it, but the rewards for that investment will be enjoyed principally by Westminster School, who by less than a complete length certainly have prevailed over Phillips Academy, but will know they have been in one mighty contest there.
Okay, Revo.